Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Nova Gnome Creations and I'm Nova, and today we are going to be having Toadstool Tuesday. So last week we learned how to make these little tiny toadstools, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make these porcini mushrooms. For this project we're going to be using a 5mm crochet hook and 2 colors of worsted weight yarn. Once you've selected what colors you'd like to use for your mushroom, go ahead and grab the color that you would like to use for the cap. We're going to start out by making a magic circle. So real quick, let me show you how to make a magic circle. You're going to take these 2 fingers and you're going to lay your yarn tail, which is the end not attached to your ball, across these 2 fingers. Then you're going to use your thumb and you're going to grab onto that to hold it in place. You're going to wrap around your fingers and cross it over the yarn that was already there. So you have a little bit of an X shape going on. Then you're going to take your crochet hook. You're going to go under this first loop. You're going to grab the second one and pull it through. And then you're going to turn your hook. Now you have a loop on your hook, and you are just going to take this working yarn, which is the yarn attached to your ball, and you're going to yarn over your hook. Then you're just going to hold on to everything and pull through. If you need a slowed down tutorial for that, I will link my magic circle tutorial in the description box. And don't forget, you can always slow down the playback speed of any of my videos by clicking on the little gear icon that is next to the video. And then you can adjust the playback speed. So once you've got your magic circle, we are going to be working double crochets into our magic circle. So the first thing we do when we're working double crochets is we want to get up to height. So for our first stitch, we're actually going to chain 3. And this is going to count as a double crochet. Then we're going to go ahead and double crochet into our magic ring, making sure that you're working over the tail and the side of the ring. To do a double crochet, you're going to yarn over your crochet hook. You're going to go through the loop and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. And that is a double crochet. We want to make a total of 8 double crochets, and since this chain 3 counts as a double crochet, you now have 2. So go ahead and make 6 more double crochets. And if you need more help on how to make a double crochet, you can always rewind and slow down that section that I just showed you how to make a double crochet. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 more. And that puts us at 8. Now that you have all 8 double crochets, you're going to go ahead and you're going to grab onto that tail that you've been working over this whole time, and you're going to go ahead and give it a nice solid tug. This is going to close up that circle in the middle that you have been working into. And then you're just going to slip stitch to the first stitch. Now because we chained 3 for our first stitch, you're actually slip stitching into the 3rd chain. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And you're actually just going to slip stitch into that as the top of your stitch. And this is going to attach you back to the beginning and finish your circle for you. So now you have a circle. Now you're going to chain 3 again. This is going to count as your first double crochet. And we are going to do increases. So when you do an increase, you work 2 stitches into the same stitch. So since we have this here, we're going to go ahead and work a double crochet into the same spot. And that's going to count as an increase. Then we're going to do another increase. So we're going to go into this next stitch with 1 double crochet, And then we're going to go into that same stitch with another double crochet. And we want to make a total of 6 increase stitches. So far we've done 2. We're going to work our third increase stitch by putting 2 double crochets into the same stitch. And now we have half of what we need. So go ahead and work your increase stitches over these next 3 stitches. And don't forget, you always want to put 2 double crochets into these stitches since we're doing a double crochet increase. Now, if you need to count to see if you have done the right amount of stitches, once you have finished, or whenever you want to, stop and count, you will have 12 stitches to count. Since we have done 6 increases and there are 2 stitches inside of each one, you'll have 12 stitches so far this round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And don't forget that that chain 3 counts as a double crochet. Once you've got your double crochet increases, you're going to want 6 of those. You are going to turn, and you're actually going to crochet into the side here, down the side of your double crochet. Okay? So we're not moving on to the next stitch. We're going to work right on the double crochet that we just made. And you're going to do 2 single crochets into the side of this. So how you're going to do that is you're going to take your hook, you're going to insert it right before that double crochet you just made, and you're going to work your single crochet as normal. So if you don't know how to work a single crochet, let me show you real quick. We're working 2 single crochets here, so I just did 1. Let me show you with the second one. You go in, and we're going in right before that post of our double crochet here. You're going to grab a loop and pull it up. You're going to yarn over, and then you're going to pull through both of those loops on your hook. And that gives you now 2 single crochets. We are going to single crochet across the bottom in these 3 stitches as well. So just work normal single crochets across the bottom in these 3 remaining stitches from the last round that we haven't worked into yet. And that's going to put you on the other side where this chain 3 is. And we are going to work 2 single crochets over the post of that, just as we did at the beginning. So you're going to put your hook right before that chain 3, which remember it counts as a double crochet. And you're just going to work right around it. And you're going to put 2 single crochets. Okay? And then we are going to go ahead and we are going to tie off. So tie off in your preferred method. I'm going to make a chain because I like to make a chain most of the time when I tie off. I just find that it is a little bit nicer. It makes a knot for me. And then you're going to leave yourself a long enough tail if you're going to be sewing this onto a project so that you can sew it on later. If you're not going to be sewing it onto a project later, just leave yourself enough of a tail to attach it to the stalk of the mushroom or the stem of the mushroom. So you can always glue this onto a project or whatever you want to do with it. I just wanted to remind you, if you are sewing it on, you're going to want a nice long tail for that. And then just pull up on your hook until you've pulled that completely out. And you have the top of your porcini mushroom done. And it should look like this. The next color that you're going to want is the color for the stem of your mushroom. For porcini, I used a brown for the mushroom cap, and I'm using a cream color for the stem. But you can use any colors that you would like to. We're going to start off by making a magic circle again. I'm not going to walk you through it. I'll slow down this time because I've already shown you once, but you can always either rewind or you can go and click on that little quick video tutorial in my description box if you need extra help with how to do a magic circle. So once you've done your magic circle, we are going to be working some double crochets into it again. So we are going to start out by making a chain 3 that's going to count as a double crochet. And we are going to double crochet 2. So go ahead and pop 1 and 2 double crochets into the center of your magic circle. Then we're going to chain 1, and we are going to work 2 more double crochets. And don't forget, when you work into the middle of a magic circle, you are working over the side of the circle and over that tail that you started with. After you have your 2 double crochets, we are going to chain 1 again. And then we're going to double crochet 3 this time. And then we're going to chain 1. And we are going to double crochet 2. If you're running out of room in your center where you're going to want to keep working over your magic circle tail, you can always pull on your work and just kind of scoot it over, holding onto this and just kind of scooting like you saw me do a moment ago. So we're going to place that double crochet again so that we have 2 here. And then you're going to chain 1. And you can go ahead and pull this magic circle shut now by pulling on this tail. Nice and snug to close that up. And then you're going to slip stitch to the first stitch. And keep in mind that that first stitch was a chain 3, so you're actually going to be slip stitching in to the top of your chain 3. And slip stitch those together. And it'll be looking a little something like this. And from here, you're just going to chain 3 for your second round. And we are only going to do a few stitches for this round because we are just shaping our stem. So you're actually going to do a chain 3, and then you're going to double crochet 2. So you're going to double crochet into the top of those next 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. Just like so. And then you're just going to chain 1 so that you can tie off if you would like to. And like I said before, leave yourself a long enough tail to sew on later if you're going to be sewing on. Go ahead and cut your yarn and pull up on your hook to finish off that piece. All right, and now you have both pieces that you need for your porcini. And they should be looking a little something like this. So that is option 1 done. This is what option 1 looks like. And if you notice, option 2 looks a little different. Obviously, this isn't sewn on yet. This will overlap a little bit down onto here. And the reason is because there is 1 more round of single crochet done around this one on the other porcini, and it gives a more rounded effect where the stem and the top are a little bit closer to the same size as porcini sometimes looks. Or if you want a more kind of classic stereotypical mushroom shape with the bigger bulbous bottom and this thinner stem as it goes up, you can finish it off right there. If you would like to continue and make it a little chunkier and round it up a little bit, then continue on to this next round where I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, and backtracking to where we were before I tied off and showed you how to finish that, if you would like to make it a little bit more rounded, you will continue for 1 more round. So for the second round, we only did these 3 stitches, this chain 3, 1 double crochet, and 2 double crochets. That's actually it for the second round, sort of. We are actually going to continue around, but we're going to work down the side of this double crochet. So I'm going to divide it off and say it's the 3rd section just to make it easier to understand. All right, so you're going to turn your work the same way that we did for the stem or for the cap, and we are going to work 2 single crochets down around the side of this double crochet. So same as before, you're going to put your hook in right before that double crochet, and then you're just going to work a single crochet the same as you normally would. Just working it around that stitch. Just like that. Then you're going to go into this space in between where this double crochet is and the next stitch is here, and you're going to work a slip stitch. So you're just going to go through, pull up a loop, and pull it through the loop already on your hook. Then you're going to move on to the next stitch, and you're going to single crochet. And you're just going to single crochet all the way around until you get back to the same spot that we were just in doing that slip stitch. So I will show you what I'm talking about. So we're single crocheting all the way around our bulbous little mushroom bottom down here. Single crocheting, single crocheting. And then as we get over here, where we get to the end of our bulbous little mushroom bottom, we get over to like the base of this double crochet, we are actually going to slip stitch into the base, basically where the double crochet goes into. We're kind of slip stitching down into there. This one is a chain 3, so it looks a little bit different, but basically just where this chain 3 comes out of, you're going to put your hook in there. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and then just pull that loop straight through the loop on your hook, and then work 2 single crochets around this chain 3. Just like that. And this gives you a little bit more of a rounded look to your mushroom. Now that you've made your way up to the top, we are going to go ahead and work another single crochet into the top of this stitch that we just worked, the 2 around. We're going to round the corner, work one there. We're going to work one into the top of this double crochet in the middle here. And we're going to work one into the top of the stitch that we started at, which is that 3rd double crochet. And then I'm just going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we did that was in the side of the double crochet. And that is going to be where I tie off from. Here's with the top. And here is with the top. So this is more the classic porcini kind of look. And this one is a little bit more just basic mushroom shaped. But the porcini mushroom has multiple shapes. They vary quite a bit. So this also just gives you 2 different options for kind of changing it up, especially if you're going to be making a lot of these for a project. Maybe you want to be able to do a little bit of variety. And this is literally just 1 round extra done on this to completely change the look of your mushroom. All right, so go ahead and make whichever stem appeals to you the most, and then you are ready to move on with sewing these 2 pieces together. So I have my darning needle here to sew with. The biggest thing to note about doing these that you need to do is make sure that you weave these yarn tails in from our magic circles. You can either weave them in or you can knot them with your other tail when you're done sewing with it. But you want to do something to secure this tail so that you don't have to worry about your magic circle kind of coming open over time. But other than that, you can really sew these together any way you want to. It's not super specific, but I will just kind of give you a quick little gist of how I sewed mine together. So I'm going to use my brown here, and I'm going to put that onto my darning needle. And then I'm going to flip these over, and I'm going to line my brown one up on the bottom so it kind of overlaps the top a little bit, and I'm going to flip them over and I'm going to sew it from the back. So here we go. I've got it flipped over. I'm going to work my way over to there by just sliding through the bottom of these stitches. You can work your way over any way that you want to, just so that your yarn is over to the stem so that you can work on attaching it. So I slid mine over there, I'm not going to pull super tight. I don't want to cinch in my mushroom side there. But as I continue to sew this on, then it will be, nice and securely attached. So I can sew this on in any way I want, because this brown, when it goes through to the front, is not going to show up because I'm using the same color as the mushroom cap. So you can just kind of look at this, push through wherever you want, pop back through on this side, and work on attaching it that way. Just work your way across in small stitches, and it will look good, and it'll be nice and securely attached. And if you'd like to, you can flip to the front and back as you're doing it. It's kind of make sure that you're not making your stitches too long, things like that. You can go through this side and just pop out the front instead of, doing it in one fluid movement. If you'd rather do this way, I do it this way a lot. But you're literally just kind of poking through one side, coming in the other. The only thing you got to make sure you do is don't go in and out of the same spot, because then you'll just undo your stitch. But it's not difficult. It's really quite simple. And that is the only bit of sewing that you have to do for these appliques, other than, if you'd like to sew it onto a project. But, sewing it onto a project is going to entail the same thing. You're just going to kind of poke in and out until you're happy with how it's attached on. And that is going to be it. So then the other thing that I was talking about, let me kind of work my way back down to the other end here. And then I'll show you what I was talking about with wanting to make sure that you secure those ends of your magic circle tails. They may never pop open, but it's always better to be on the safe side, because they can slowly kind of creep open over time if you don't tie off those tails. So one thing that you can do is weave your tail when you're done sewing on however much you want. Kind of weave your tail up through your work up till you get up to the magic circle tail. Just like that. And then you can actually knot these together. So I've got my magic circle tail here and the tail that I'd left to do my sewing with. And I'm going to knot them. And you can knot these pretty tightly and do it, I'm going to do like a triple knot, something that I feel really secure with. And this is a really easy way to do it so that you don't have to really do any sewing. If you'd like to, you can take this little magic circle tail and you can weave it back and forth. You can also do both. So if you would like to be extra secure, you can always knot it and then take your magic circle tail and just kind of weave it around in the back here. Same as before, you can do it however you want to. Just make sure you don't go in and out of the exact same spot. And it's even better if you can kind of go in between the fibers of the yarn, not just under stitches, because then you're going to really weave it in there. But just go back and forth a few times and then that's nice and woven in. So that's just a little bit of tips on how to do the sewing. And it will look like this. Once you're done sewing everything in, you can always trim your yarn or you can leave it long for attaching onto a project. But this is how your little porcini looks. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that you found it easy to follow along with. I would love to see your little mushy makes if you would like to share them with me. My email is always in the description box. And we actually do something on my channel on Fridays called Community Spotlight. So if you would like to be featured, I can always share your makes with my community and your community, because if you're watching this video, then you are part of my community. So if you would like to do that, just let me know when you email me that you would like it to be in Community Spotlight. But I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you stick around for more Toadstool Tuesdays. All right, bye guys.